Welcome back, children. Next change in your body, that is change in the size of heart and lungs. So how our body is growing physically outward, in the same way inside organs also, internal organs also will grow. So there is an changes in the size of heart and lungs too, and this is less apparent means not that evident and that clear, but equally important. The diameter of the heart increases by about 50% and the weight almost doubles itself. Whose weight? Heart weight. Then there is an increase in the size and the capacity of the lungs also. So without development of the lungs and heart, if simply our body grows, our body cannot survive, because body needs lot of blood and oxygen. So to supply these two things, our heart and lungs also will increases their capacity. Change in body shape. So body shape will be different for boys and girls. So boys, what changes takes place? Their shoulder will become broader, and hip region will become narrow, and bones and muscles will become stronger. And girls, the pelvic region, the region below the waist, will become wider. That region is called pelvic region, and the muscles of the body do not grow prominently, and the chest region will increase. These are the changes that takes place boys and girls separately at puberty. At puberty, the voice box or the larynx will begin to grow. This is more clearly seen in boys in the form of Adam's apple, because the Adam's apple or the voice box will have, or voice box or larynx will have thick cartilaginous flaps. So because of that, their voice box will be clearly seen. But girls, the larynx is hardly visible from outside, and girls will have high pitched voice and boys will have hoarse voice. And at the before puberty, the larynx is small and vocal cords are short and thin. Hence the voice of the child is high pitched, that who is speaking, like both boy and girl's voice will be similar. But as at the age of puberty, all these changes will be more evident. The growing voice box can be seen as a protruded out. So this is because the larynx becomes bigger and the vocal cords lengthen and thicken. So this makes the voice deeper. This process lasts for a few months. Once the larynx grows fully, the change in voice stabilizes. When the larynx grows larger during puberty, it protrudes out in front of the throat. This is called as Adam's apple. So larynx grows more in boys than in girls. So this is the reason the highlighting of the Adam's apple in front of their necks for only boys, but not for girls.
Vocal tract. Lips. Tongue. This difficult to control piece of anatomy is called the velum or the soft palate, but you can think of it as the nose gate. It opens and closes, controlling the flow of air and sound up into the nasal cavity. In most people, the velum is opening and closing constantly when we speak and sing, and we're barely even aware of it. Down here, we have the larynx, which houses the vocal folds.
The increased activity of the sweat and sebaceous glands at puberty. The sweat glands of the body develops fully during puberty, and there is an increased secretion of sweat. So because of that, acne and pimples are more common among adolescents due to the increased production of sebum. Sebum means oil glands. So oil will be produced from our nose part and chin part. So you can rub it and see that lot of oil will be produced. So this oil is produced by sebaceous glands. The oil secretion is called sebum. So this, because of the sebaceous glands and sebum, lot of pimples and acne will be formed. So that's why frequent washing of face is most required at this age. These sweat and sebaceous glands will release their secretions through ducts. Ducts are nothing but tube-like structures. But we have another glands, those are called endocrine glands. Endocrine glands releases hormones, and these release directly into the bloodstream because they do not have any ducts. They do not have any tubes on their own. So that's why they are called as ductless glands. So ductless glands and endocrine system we will discuss in the later part. Okay, sweat and sebaceous glands are the duct glands. Endocrine glands are called ductless glands.